It was a great win for our football team, for the program. Excellent, excellent crowd, and so it's great Saturday afternoon as far as Ohio football was concerned. Thought our guys did a lot of things right, played hard. They continued to, I think, come out and have energy and work at playing very good football, and it's showing. Obviously, this week's game against Western Michigan will be a big challenge. They are, watching them on film, a very, very good football team. They're physical on both sides of the ball. They got special players on both sides of the ball, and so it's going to be a huge challenge. It's going to be a very physical football game.
Is Western Michigan the kind of the poster child for look at a team's stats, but keep in mind who they've played?
Yeah. They, you can't look at their stats at all. Actually, I don't think they're relevant because of the quality of teams they played on their schedule, and so you don't read really anything into that. You just watch them on film, watch them run around, watch them make plays, and it's pretty understandable that they've got an excellent football team.
I know you haven't looked at every team in the conference, but with Braverman and Davis, is Western as dangerous a team 1-2 at wide receivers as you'll see inside the conference?
Yeah, they're both explosive players, really capable of making big and explosive plays at any time during the game, and I think they use them both very well. And so, but you look at them across the board. They've got big, very physical linemen that move well. The running back is big back. He's 220 or so pounds, and he's a big back that runs well and very, very powerful guys. So they've got the complete package. Obviously, Zach at quarterback has been displaying his ability there for quite some time.
Quentin seems to have, and when we ask him, last game he gave him 3 points. He was kind of disappointed. It seems like he wants a shutout every game. How does that intensity that he has kind of spread throughout the rest of the defense?
Well, he's a very confident football player, and obviously that when you tie that in with ability leads to what you're looking for on the football field. And I think that spreads to your football team. He's a guy that plays every play hard. He's a very smart football player. He knows the game. He's got all the talent you need in terms of running ability, physical ability to make tackles and evade blocks. So he's a complete player, looked up to very highly by everybody on our football team.
Is he pretty much a leader as far as showing what he does on the field, just instead of just talking up, hype speeches? He kind of just lets his play do the talking.
Yeah, everything I just mentioned would indicate that he's a guy that has the ability to get done what you want a Mike Backer to get done. And you could probably play him in a lot of different places. He just has that kind of athletic talent and football ability and toughness about him, athleticism about him, that he could line up in a lot of spots and be a great player for you. We were walking out for the second half, and he was a little disappointed in terms of not having a lot of tackles, but what was getting done wasn't leading him to be involved in a lot of tackles at that point in time. So I wouldn't say it was frustrating to him, but he wanted more. He wanted more activity going on in his area.
Did that pick play to start the half? Did that kind of help his morale a little bit?
Well, I think that helped everybody. That and certainly set a tone for the second half for us, and I think it really discouraged their football team some. They were down. We had scored 2 touchdowns, and all of a sudden now we get another one on the board right away, and they have a chance to take the opening kickoff and maybe march down the field, get some points on the board, and get their team involved again, and feel like they've turned this thing into a game. that kind of led them down a path they didn't want to go down the second half.
And speaking of your defense, it's been pretty stout this year. Is there any areas that could be improved on the defensive side?
Yeah, we can. We're going to continue to get tested throughout the season. There's a lot of really top of the line football teams in the MAC, and so you look at our schedule now, and we're going to be facing a good share of those teams, and so we'll be tested. I think that it's true that we felt at the beginning of the year our linebackers could be very impactful with their ability to run and make plays. We gotten a little banged up in that area, so we're trying to come off of some injuries there to get us back to closer to full strength. Same thing at rush end. Terrell was out a game. Trent has sustained an injury that is keeping him out of a game or two, and so consequently, injuries start to play a little bit of a role and an impact on defense. But we were pretty deep going in terms of having one of our deeper teams, I think, as far as talent goes on the defensive side of it, and I think that's helped us get through to this point. So we'll see how it all plays out. Our corners are playing well, and that's always a key in against anybody that you play, and our interior people. We've been playing at least 4 guys inside and rotating them, and they've held up very, very well.
The pass efficiency defense has jumped up to I think 21st in the country this year. What do you see as the reasons behind that improvement?
I think just better one-on-one players. Whether you're talking about the ability to get something going with a pass rush, linebackers being able to cover people out of the backfield, also be part of a pass rush when needed, getting in their proper drops, being able to make the plays when they're there. As I mentioned about the corners, we have really very, very good. We've gotten very, very good corner play, and I think our safeties are real experienced football players in our system. So, that all adds up to maybe defending the pass a little bit better. The other thing, we haven't allowed the run game to get started to where it's taking over a game or dominating a game, and that certainly helps your passing game too when you make a team somewhat one-dimensional.
Not a lot of people knew Langston Provitt. What was it like to see him make a big play and really start to gain more and more playing time?
He's a talented guy, and playing as a true freshman would indicate that to you, that we believe in his talent, and so it was great to see him have some success with getting a pick. But he's shown signs of being successful in other ways, and that has allowed us to let him have some playing time as we've gone through the first half of the season here. And so we feel very confident in his ability now to step on the field, and even though he's not a tremendously experienced player, he plays at a level that is really very good, and he's a fast learner and getting better every game. So we think he has a chance to really be an outstanding player.
You liked him, so I don't suppose it's a surprise to you guys, but he was a guy you picked up late,
Mm-hmm.
a little after signing day, and not on the recruiting services and things like that. What did you see that allowed you guys to believe that he could come and contribute like that?
You saw talent on both sides of the ball with him coming out of high school, and so it was clear that to us when we saw the film that he was a very athletic guy. And the question was, you'd think he'd be getting more offers, but as it played out, it worked out really well for us. There was no question in our mind about him being a very, very talented player, and so we were anxious to get him in and get him working right away, and he's proven out to be exactly what we thought he would be.
When a kicker is struggling like Yaz was, how much influence do you have in trying to get him back on track? Is that something that kickers just got to go through on their own? You know, what's been your experience from dealing with that? You know, Yaz kind of rebounded and looked like he had a good leg again.
They're all a little different, and you know, they've got different personalities, and that always comes into play. Some of them, you know, can work their way through tough times. Some of them struggle a little bit more working their way through tough times. It's, you know, it's sometimes it's smart just to let them go and back away from them. Sometimes you throw a little tip out there here and there, and hope that does something to have him strike the ball a little better and maybe gain some confidence. And you know, it's a position that that you can have success with, but then all of a sudden you kick the ball a million times, and all of a sudden it's not gone through the uprights, and so you don't want to get to where you start off from scratch with a kicker. You know, you can offer some little tips and some suggestions out on the field, but you don't want to do it too often. You don't want to certainly do it too much. You want to let them, if you saw it in them and they've proven to themselves that they're a good kicker, then eventually it's going to start showing again. So it's a position you don't want to overcoach, but little tips along the way can be helpful.
What kind of tips did you offer Daz, or did you take the other way and just let him do what he needs to do? Because would you agree he looked better this weekend?
Yeah. You know, at times it's very easy to get to where you're kicking off balance a little bit and your shoulders are back, and so he started rolling his shoulders forward a little bit on the kick, keeping his head down versus kicking and coming almost across the ball, you know, and so that forces you to keep your hips square a little bit and kick through it. You know, but whether anything like that helps or whether he just worked his way through it, yeah, you know. But everybody's happy when they start going through and practice, and he had a better week of practice, and I think went into the game more confident.
You went against a lot of head coaches during your career. What's it like facing a guy that is at the other end of the spectrum? Age-wise, is there a difference when you're going against a guy like Fleck this week, who's 34 or whatever, and you've got decades of experience on him? Does that ever enter into coaching matchups? Does that ever enter into how you're getting ready for a week, for example?
I don't think so. You know, I thought I was a pretty good coach at 34. You know, and obviously he's a very good coach, and has done a great job recruiting as well as coaching, and you know, they're has done a great job of getting their facilities in place and continue to build on those facilities, and they're located pretty well. You know, I don't know how far it is from Chicago, but you know, they do a good job of getting certainly a lot of Michigan players, Illinois players. They get down into Florida and get a fair number of players out of there. So, you know, they've got a lot of things going. You know, they're winning football games. They've got really good facilities, and you know, they're doing a lot of the right things.
Quinn Polling's been the Defensive Player of the Week 3 of the last 6 weeks, 50%. Would you say he's a consistent, or right now the leading contender for the Defensive Player of the Year?
You know, I don't know. We haven't seen much of the MAC yet on film. You know, certainly saw a lot of Akron film, and they've got a lot of really good defensive players. And you know, seen a lot of Miami film, and now we're starting to see a lot of Western film, but which is, you know, they're not in our division, but obviously he's Quentin's a great football player. I think he's in contention for any number of awards. And, if he keeps playing at the level that he's playing at, I think he's going to gather a lot of awards at the end of the season.
Anything else, guys?
You mentioned Sebastian Smith on Saturday. Is the mental journey as much as anything? Does that factor in as much as anything when a guy's trying to become that prototypical or stereotypical number one receiver? And how has he handled that confidence-wise, or
Yeah.
being more secure in what he's about
Yeah.
this Saturday?
Well, he's really struggled. He had a broken leg, had a rod put in it a couple years ago. I believe shoulder surgery and meniscus surgery, and so if I'm not mistaken, he's had 3 surgeries, and coming off of that alone is something, and not letting that get you to a point where you're really struggling on the football field, I think has been amazing by him. He's got a tremendous amount of talent, and that talent's really starting to show now at the level that we thought it all would.
Is he the kind of guy that wants to be a number one?
No question. Yeah. He wants the ball as much as we can get it to him, and I think there was an extra spark there in terms of his movement after the catch. He really showed excellent acceleration and getting as much yardage out of a play as he possibly could. He's always been a guy that's been able to go up and make the spectacular catch. Now he's becoming a threat after the catch.